Another mindset question, ways to shift your mindset so you don't eat differently during the weekend than what you eat during the week. I eat better and more balanced during the week, but once the weekend rolls around, it's a different story. So common, right?
Yeah. And look, even common for me. So my weekend habits are different than my Monday to Friday habits. And I mean, obviously she's asking this question because something's going on that doesn't feel good for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the first thing I want to say is if it's not a problem, it's not a problem, right? But if it is a problem for you, I think the mindset that I think can be extremely helpful is it's not about all or nothing and it's not about mimicking or having identical habits on the weekend as your weekdays. It's about just like bringing it a little closer,
Mm-hmm.
just a little closer. And I would start with what's negotiable and not negotiable for her. What is a way of eating for her on the weekend? What's important to her that she's not willing to change, and what is she willing to change? So I remember going down this path myself many years ago and realizing, you know what? I could get up and have a balanced breakfast. I don't need to start my day with cinnamon buns and croissants. And that's okay with me. It might not be okay with her, might not be
Mm-hmm.
okay with Annie, but for me, I can get up and have a balanced breakfast and get some protein in, get some fiber in. That feels really good for me.
Yeah.
But everyone has to kind of decide on that journey of bringing your weekends a little closer to your weekdays so you can establish a little more consistency. It's what's negotiable and non-negotiable for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to say that I think the person that asked this question might be new to our group. So I just also want to offer that sometimes I have lived this personally. Sometimes what contributes to overeating or feeling a little bit more chaotic or out of control on the weekends is actually what's happening during the week.
Mm,
Because for me, I spent Monday through Friday lunchtime really white knuckling it, really like
mhm,
rigid and inflexible, hitting all my macros or points or whatever. And then come Friday, I would have a cheat meal, which would just spill in over to the weekend. And by the weekend, it was like, oh, whatever. I worked so hard during the week. I can just have
mhm.
whatever I want. And so the answer to addressing that solution was actually to give myself a little bit more flexibility and bring some of those treats that I was saving for the weekend into the week, right?
Yeah,
And that allowed me to not feel like, oh my gosh, this is like my one chance to get all the foods I love in,
right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that could be a contributing factor. But in reality, for most people, it is just the weekends offer less structure, less routine. There's not like this maybe rigid schedule where we got school drop off, we got work, we've got lunch, we've got meetings, we've got afternoon activities. It's like a little bit more flexibility. So I would be curious if this woman were in coaching, I would say, what do you want your weekends to look like? Like
Yeah.
what is an ideal weekend? Does it have a little bit more flexibility than your week, but not quite as much as you've been giving it, somewhere in the middle? Like what do you want it to look like? And then how can we make steps to inch towards that? As you said, like just bring it in a little.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Great question.